Hello and good day to all the lovely folks out there. I love a good haunted house movie, but there is no denying that many of them are quite similar, and only a handful of them are able to stand out and also provide any legitimate scares. The movie I will be talking about in this video, however, is able to be different while still playing with the same old premise. So let's talk about it. I am Torstein from CinemaTerror, and this is the 2012 British horror film When the Lights Went Out.
It's really the
The story is set in 1974, where the Maynard family is moving into their dream house located in West Yorkshire, only to find out that there is another presence living there, who does not appreciate the new family moving into their new home. The presence makes itself known to the family, both by showing kindness to the teenage girl Sally, and other times by just being straight evil and violent towards the family members. The supernatural events start to increase, leaving the Maynards in an awful position where they are unable to keep their family safe, with no one able or willing to help them out. As with so many other haunted house movies, When the Lights Went Out is based on a true story. At first, the story was only noticed locally, until after the Enfield hauntings had become popularized, and author Colin Wilson wrote a book about the events in 1981 called Poltergeist, A Study in Destructive Haunting. The story would largely stay unknown for the public until 2012, when Pat Holden, the nephew of the family that experienced the haunting back in the 70s, decided that their story was worth transforming onto the big screen, and that's how we ended up with this movie, When the Lights Went Out. Although the real-life haunting took place in 1970, the film is instead set in the year of 1974, and the crew did an awesome job in trying to recreate that time period with the decor and the characters. It feels very authentic to its time, and they did not shy away from also showing the more common at the time social norms. This is shown in how the Maynard family behave towards each other. You will see both parents harshly talk down to their teen girl Sally, and even slap her when they feel she is disobeying them. That's something you rarely see in movies today, even though the story is supposed to be set in the past. And I gotta commend screenwriter-director Pat Holden for not shying away from this kind of stuff, especially considering he's related to the family that this story is based on. It also gave the movie a different type of dynamic, instead of having a regular sweet loving family, which we usually see in movies, and is easier for the audience to wish gets out of the horrible situation unharmed. Len, the father of the family, is a typical working class British lad who prefers to spend his time drinking beer at the local pub instead of being at home with his family. After first belittling his family for believing that their new house is haunted, he takes quite a turn when he himself is convinced that it is true, and attempts to cash in on the events by inviting a local journalist and taking money from curious guests to visit their home. His wife Jenny is not happy about this, which causes an argument and sends Len back to the pub for more beers. Their new home is everything Jenny, the mother, has dreamed of, which makes the option of moving out unacceptable to her, even though it would most likely mean the end of the torment for the family. Neither of them seem to put their child Sally high on their priority list, so all of this gives us not the most perfect cinematic parents we have ever seen, which I do appreciate as it gives the movie a bit of a more realistic approach, and it makes us get more invested in Sally, who is the main character of the film.
Jesus, what was that? I'll give you one guess. Right, madam.
Bloody hell do you think you're playing at?
Sally's only 13 years old. She did not want to move from the previous home, and she's not having the best of time at school. She has anger issues, which makes sense considering what her home life looks like, and her only friend is a sweet, kind neighborhood girl named Lucy. Lucy has her own issues and has no trouble accepting the problems that Sally is facing, making her the most precious character of the entire film. Lucy is basically the childhood friend that everyone wants. And yeah, she does steal a beer from a local shop, but I feel that's just the rite of passage for any Brit growing up and nothing that can be held against her.
Where'd you get that? Nicked it from shop. It's horrible, isn't it? Tinker. Is it?
I think that both Tasha Connor as Sally and Hannah Clifford as Lucy do a great job as young performers, as their friendship becomes the heart of the movie, and it was a letdown to see that Clifford did not seem to continue working as an actress after this film, as I thought she was able to show off a lot of promise, but hopefully she has found something else that she is passionate about and that she is enjoying her life. Connor gets the toughest job, as Sally has to be her anchor in the film, and she is at first portrayed as a bit of a problem child, before we see why she is like that, and then she has to turn the viewer from maybe not liking her to later feeling bad for her. I've seen so many horror movies during my life where the young actors get a bigger task than what they can handle, so I have to give a lot of praise for Connor and the direction she gets, as her performance is very good in this film. While the characters and setting work for me, I do think the movie will disappoint some when it comes to the scare or creep factor. There are some interesting aspects of the evil entity in the story, and I did like the small unexpected twists and turns that are introduced later on, but I do wish they were able to amp up the atmosphere, provide a few more scenes that generate fear, and also let the whole backstory of the entity get more screen time. The final conflict is also lackluster, as there is a reliance on CGI effects, and they did not work in this movie, most likely due to budget restraints, which makes me think they should have changed it up and taken advantage of more practical effects.
Go on, cry. Like you made my mum cry.
If you appreciate a more classic approach to haunted house movies, then you might find this creepy if you do some work by turning off your lights and perhaps light a candle or two. But if your reference on these types of movies rely on stuff like modern over-the-top effect-heavy stuff like The Conjuring, then you might become somewhat disappointed. If I had to do a comparison, I would probably say that this is closer to Don't Go to Sleep or the Amityville Horror, the original one, not the Ryan Reynolds remake from the 2000s. When the Lights Went Out might play with the same premise as so many other countless haunted house movies, but it turns out that this one was able to change things up by putting a lot more attention into the character work and the 1970s aesthetic. It might not provide any scares that the young popcorn-eating cinema-goer might want or expect today, but for experienced horror fans, I think this one is well worth checking out. I'm giving When the Lights Went Out the positive score of 3.5 out of 5. Have you seen this one? Did you like it as much as I did? And what other newer haunted house movies are out there that you enjoy but others might not be aware of? Let me and others know in the comment section below. And if you thought this video was okay, then I do appreciate it if you press the like button, leave a positive comment, and of course subscribe, as there will be more videos on all types of horror movies coming in the future to this little corner of YouTube called CinemaTerror. Thank you for watching.